Big quarterback news from Columbus today. Despite passionate comments to the contrary, Tate Martell has put his name in the NCAA transfer portal, which basically means he'll most likely leave Ohio State. Remember he said all that stuff around the Rose Bowl that he would not leave and some guy'd have to come in and take it from him? Well, and stop me if you've heard this one before. Ohio State has hired a former Michigan coach. This time it's Matt Barnes. Barnes was a defensive analyst for Michigan in 2015. He'll work with special teams and as an assistant secondary coach. With more on Tate and the Bucs, we turn now to BCSN's Mark Kuntz and LettermanRow.com's Jeremy Birmingham.
Now, can Tate do what Joe Burrow did? Is he on track to graduate in 3 years? That's what made Joe Burrow such an attractive graduate transfer. In fact, he had 2 years of eligibility remaining. Where is Tate Martell academically? Because he was an early enrollee.
Yeah, Martell still has almost a year left to get done, so it wouldn't be till next spring, I think, when he'd be eligible as a grad transfer. So if he's going to leave, they're going to have to find ways for him to get a hardship waiver somewhere else. And I don't know for sure what's going to happen there, but I think that the Buckeyes would prefer nobody leave, of course, but in this day and age, you almost have to prepare yourself for that when you have that many good quarterbacks. So I think that ultimately the most talented of that group is Justin Fields. So if he's eligible and he's able to pick up the offense quickly, I think he's going to be the starter.
Mike Yurcich has been hired as the passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach. Does that mean the offensive staff is in place? Greg Studrawa will be back next year?
It seems like the offensive staff is not changing at this point. You can expect Ryan Day to still work with quarterbacks, but Mike Yurcich from Oklahoma State will be the quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator. Then you're going to keep Tony Alford and Brian Hartline. And then Kevin Wilson is going to continue his role as the tight ends coach and run game coordinator. And it looks like Greg Studrawa is staying in place as the offensive line coach right now. So there's no expected changes on the offense, which is understandable. You know, Buckeye fans are obviously always looking for the next best thing. But we're talking about the best offense in school history. And it's hard to justify making broad-scale changes when you're dealing with a group that was as successful as that offense was.
About a month left before the signing day in February. What is Ohio State looking to recruit-wise over this next couple of weeks?
Yeah, the big thing for the Buckeyes right now is offensive line. With the loss of Michael Jordan, they only have 11 scholarship offensive linemen. That is about 4 or 5 too few, I think. And they obviously have a commitment from Doug Nestor, the Huntington, West Virginia offensive guard. He's been committed longer than anybody in this class. The only player that didn't sign, though, that was committed. Penn State, Virginia Tech, Georgia are all pushing really hard. People I talk to think he's going to stay, and the holding over of Greg Studrawa may help that. But once you open that door to uncertainty, it sometimes becomes a little bit hard to shut it again. And I think that Doug is just going to make sure he takes his time to look through things. He's not going to publicly decommit before signing day. So the Buckeyes aren't going to know for sure until signing day in February. And then they'd like to add a cornerback or two, but it's just hard to find them because 80% of the country's best players have already signed their letters of intent. And which I don't understand when you look at all these coaching changes. I don't know why anybody would sign in December because you just have no idea who's going to be where. But that's really the area of focus: offensive line, cornerbacks, and then move on to 2020.